Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear students and my dear daughters from our school, Al Muqtama Private School. As usual, we will start our new lesson for today, grades 12, Science and Art, Unit 7, Short Writing, a Letter of Complaint. Write a letter of complaint. This is our objective for today. Then sure to be, inshallah, by the end of our lesson today, all the students hopefully will be able to identify the structural feature of a letter of complaint. Let's start our lesson. We have main steps for our lesson today. The first step is, what is a letter of complaint? The second step is, how is this letter structured? And we have a model of a letter complaint analysis. Let's start. Okay. The first start, what is a letter of complaint? Can you think about what is the letter of complaint? The letter of complaint is a letter you write to complain about the bad service you had. As example, the bad service that you had received in a restaurant or in a shop. This is a letter of complaint. A letter you write to complain about the bad service you had in a specific place or when you buy a specific device. The structure for a letter of complaint. I hope that all of my students remember how can we structure the letter of application. To know the difference between the structure of a letter of complaint and the letter of good application. Today, we continue with the second short writing, a letter of complaint. Good. Sure, we start with the structure. First, the greeting. Then, you start with your paragraphs, sure, with the introduction. Then, we continue with the main body paragraphs that you will give the exact details of your complaint in chronological order and state what action you expect to be taken. Then your conclusion and closing remark with a signature. Okay, this is the structure of a letter of complaint. Let's go to analyze more specific details about the structure. First, greeting. Dear Sir or Madam, or Dear Mr. or Mrs. As we said before, if you don't know the name of person who will receive your letter, it means your greeting is going to be Dear Sir or Madam. If you know the person who will receive your letter, it means you are going to start with Dear Mr. or Mrs. This is our greeting, and as usual, we know this is for the formal style. Second, your introduction. What is your introduction include? Formal greeting, the reason for writing, and a brief description of a problem or of your problem. Again, formal greeting, reason for writing, and a brief description of a problem. This is your introduction. What about the main body? The main body paragraphs should include from 2 to 3 paragraphs. What are these paragraphs will talk about? Our paragraphs will talk about details of each complaint in a separated paragraph, including reason, examples, and justification. The first paragraph will talk about the first complaint and the justification, and if you have an example, it's okay. The second paragraph, you have the second complaint with your justification. And the third paragraph, the third complaint and your justification. It means you can talk about 2 or 3 complaints. Okay? You can talk about 2 or 3 complaints. Then your conclusion to state what action you expect to be taken. This is your conclusion. And sure, if you start with dear sir or madam, you will finish with yours faithfully. If you start with dear Mr. or Mrs., you will finish with yours sincerely. This is our structure for a letter of complaint. Good. Now it's time to a model analyze. A model letter analysis. This is you can open your workbook page 67. This is the topic or the prompt that you are going to write about. You stayed at an English hotel last month, but you didn't enjoy your stay there. Write a letter of complaint expressing your disappointment about the food and the stuff to the manager. You are going to write from 150 to 180 words, okay? Now, as you see, and you are going to analyze your own prompt first. What is the main complaint? What is the main complaint? Sure, the bad service that you have received at this English hotel. Then you are going to complain about the food and the stuff. Again, you are going to analyze the prompt itself. You stayed at an English hotel last month, but you didn't enjoy your stay there. This is the main problem. Then, when we talk about what is the main problem as a brief, it means you are going to write about the bad service at this English hotel, okay? Then, what are the complaints you are talking about? The food and the stuff. You have 2 main complaints. You can add extra one from your own, okay? Let's see our model and analyze this together. This is our sample for our writing. Dear sir or madam, this is your greeting. Why we start with this greeting? Because we don't know who is going to receive your letter. Then you are going to say, dear sir or madam. Then your introduction. You are going to talk why you are writing this letter and a brief about the problem. I am writing to complain about my recent stay at your hotel on 15th June. Then, when you say, I'm writing this letter to complain, this is your own reason. Pay attention with me. I am writing to complain. This is the reason for writing. I'm writing to complain. Then, tell about what are you going to complain about? What we will complain about? About my recent stay at your hotel on 15th June. It was most unpleasant. Then you give a brief about your complaint. Firstly, the first complaint. The first complaint. Firstly, when I checked in, the room was not the one I requested. When I mentioned this, the receptionist was unhelpful and impolite. This is the first complaint. This is the first complaint. When I checked in, the room was not the one I requested. When I mentioned this, the receptionist was unhelpful and impolite. Then you, in this time, you complain about the stuff. Okay? This is the first complaint that you mentioned in your prompt. What makes matters worse? This is the next complaint. To make matters worse, now we are going to mention the second complaint. The room was very noisy. This is the second complaint. Okay? The first complaint was the room was not the one I requested. The second complaint, the room was very noisy because of the street below, and I did not sleep well at all. This is the second one. In addition to that, we are going to give another complaint. Number 3, the food in the restaurant was cold and bland. And when I complained, the waiter was extremely rude. Then now we talk about what are the main complaints: the stuff, the food, and the room. Now we have the main complaints. Now we are going to end. I feel grieved, dissatisfaction with this poor service. Therefore, I would like a full refund for the cost of my stay. I would also suggest that you give your staff extra training in customer service. This is how can you end your letter. I hope that this matter will be dealt with promptly. Yours faithfully. Okay? Dina Rose. This is your sample of writing. I hope that you understand something for today. Um, Thank you very much for you later, inshallah. Bye bye.